All right, here we are with the second installment of the Wild Times. What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hello.
Doing okay. Quarantined,
This
mate.
is not how I was expecting podcast number 2 to go, but hey, we still all have our drinks.
Cheers.
That's important.
Cheers, mates. Wild Times.
I was thinking about introducing a new element to the podcast, which is like whenever someone makes a good joke, I give it one of these.
Wild Times.
What do you got? You got a claw?
I got a claw.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So, Forrest has a black cherry white claw.
Sure do.
Retep is drinking a pint glass full of warm red wine. What are you doing, sir?
Are you joining us, Patrick? Do you have a drink in hand?
Good old-fashioned Budweiser, Bud Heavy.
Oof, so many cals, dude.
Yeah, but it's
So
a good
cold.
beer.
Yeah, he's going to be hammered.
It gets colder than other beers.
So I'm joined today with executive producer Patrick DeLuca. Many may not know this, but he's also the Smirnoff Ice Gotta Think of Everything guy. And Retep,
Yep.
the audio geek who set all this up, because we are all recording remotely because we are quarantined. Thank you, coronavirus.
Yeah, thanks.
So it's actually worse for you, Forrest, because you are solo quarantined.
I'm in the real deal, yeah. So I just got back from Indonesia and I flew through China, which means I am not allowed within 6 feet of any human contact for 2 weeks. So I'm high risk, but not high risk enough to get a test. So I just have to spend 2 weeks completely isolated. And as you guys know, because we had to reschedule 3 times, for the last 3 days I've had no cable or internet either. So that's been just tremendous.
What have you been doing? Reading? It sounds awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. No one should read.
You do have a lot of great animals, though, there. Have you just been, like, out back petting your giant, oversized bunny?
I have indeed. We've been taking care of the animals and, just doing a lot of nothing, to be quite honest.
So at the same time that I was canceling a shoot in Russia, you jumped on a plane and connected through China to go to Indonesia. What was that all about?
Yeah, so I went over to Indonesia to work on a wildlife rescue thing, and I'm not sure how much I'm supposed to say at this point, but there's a very famous crocodile over there with a tire stuck around his neck, and I was going there to try and catch him and pull the tire off his neck. And
no way, dude.
Yeah.
I've saw it. It's all over the internet.
You get picked for all the fun shit.
Yeah, so I'm the guy so BKSDI is the governing conservation body in Indonesia. They had a checklist of Western kind of crocodile people, and they started with an Australian crocodile guy. He spent 3 weeks there, blew it. Then they called me, and they're like, hey, this guy couldn't do it. Can you get the job done? And I was like, sure can, and jumped on a plane to Indonesia to basically land, hang out for a day, and turn around and fly right home because the whole government got shut down due to coronavirus.
Damn.
Oh, shit. So you didn't even get to go see the crocodile.
Saw it from the riverbank, and that was it. Because we got shut down so quickly that, I was still there for like 3 nights, but I wasn't allowed to engage because I had no government officials with me because the government was shut down.
So Forrest and I, we've been talking about this. I don't know about you, Peter. Have you been biding your time watching Tiger King?
Oh, yeah, man. It's amazing, and I'm so happy that it was brought to my attention by Forrest.
Yes, I was just blown away and burned through all 7 episodes of Tiger King.
Oh, yeah.
But, guys, I got to tell you something. I got a little surprise for you.
What do you got?
Ooh, I'll feed you, baby birds. I'll feed you. I posted about how great I thought Tiger King was and how important it was for people to watch it on my Instagram. And I got a message from a guy named Nico who said, hey, man, I've been following you for a while. Just so you know, I was one of the cameramen on Tiger King, and I lived at the compound with Joe Exotic for 10 months, and I've got some crazy dirt to tell you from behind the scenes.
No
and guys,
way.
Hell yeah,
I
dude.
swear, I was so stoked
Sick.
I just set it up. I was like, come on the podcast tomorrow. He's like, I'm in.
Pays to be an A-list celebrity, doesn't it, Forrest?
Hey, yep, that's me.
So as soon as you're done with this, just click listen to podcast number 3. We're going to have behind-the-scenes dirt from a cameraman who has spent almost a year there living at Joe Exotic's compound. He's got all sorts of dirt and behind-the-scenes hot, sexy action.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's funny. As I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, Forrest must know some of these
No, but
dudes.
not even. Crazy story. So a good buddy of mine, his name's James. He's a vet, a turtle vet, not a tiger producer. His boss is Eric Good, the guy who you kind of see come on and off camera very, very rarely, but he's the host, basically. So James, who I've known for many years, started working on this thing 4 years ago as a producer, And he was like asking me for tips and stuff, and I was like, I don't know, man. It's gonna be dog shit. Like, you don't know what you're doing. You're not a producer. Like, this isn't gonna be good. And he's like, no, man, these people are crazy. It's gonna be awesome. So I've known about it for years and been getting these little like tidbits of information. I'd never heard of any of these people. I didn't know that the big cat world was so Jerry Springer-esque. Like, I didn't know anything about this.
Oh my God.
Nobody knew about it. It's insane. It's like a cult.
It is a cult.
It's a total cult, and it's a cult on both sides. And the documentary is done so well that you don't know which side to take at first. And then you're just like, oh, I hate all these people.
Oh, by the way, we're giving spoilers in this conversation, right?
We must. We must. It's important.
All right, so Forrest, as a biologist, like, what is your stance? Without getting too serious, what's your stance on these types of zoos?
Okay, well, let's be clear. Zoos are a good thing, in my opinion, and that's not the most popular vote in the world, but zoos have done a lot for conservation, right? They've kept species from the extinct species list. They've bred things. AZA-accredited zoos, American Zoological Association accredited zoos, are wonderful places where animals are typically happy, and they breed animals and keep species around. These are not AZA-accredited zoos.
They're like freak shows.
No.
It's like a freak show.
Joe Exotic with 40 cats in a child's playpen in his backyard is not a good thing. I mean, it's animal abuse, first of all, but it's just mind-blowing how over the top and wrong it is, and the fact that this goes on in our own backyards.
Yeah.
One of the arguments that Carol, his nemesis, the animal rights activist,
The murderer.
yeah, but see, that's the whole thing that makes it insane.
She may or may not have murdered
But so
her
she
husband.
says, that the cub petting is abuse, and I was like, well, I don't get that. And then later they show them taking the cub away from the tiger mom while she's having the baby, and I'm just like, that's clearly abuse.
And not only that, but there's a bunch of allocations towards like that Doc Antle guy about euthanizing adolescent tigers. So basically they've got like a puppy mill, except before the puppy becomes a dog, it goes night-night, right? Which is
disgusting.
It's terrible.
Disgusting.
Like,
It's
to
because
breed...
you can make money off of the kitten when little kids can pet it.
Right.
But then if it becomes a full-grown tiger, now you've got $1,000 a day problem.
Right. Yeah.
And
feed
not
it.
to mention, like, once they hit adolescence, they're not controllable, right? You can manipulate a tiger cub and hand it off and play smushy face with it, but once that tiger cub becomes, a 13-year-old in human years, just as you couldn't tell any of us what to do when we were 13, you can't tell a tiger what to do, except they have Wolverine claws.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and they weigh like,
okay.
what,
Yeah.
400, 900 pounds?
Yeah, I mean, at adolescence, they're not quite that big, but the point is they're getting to that uncontrollable stage, and they're full of, testosterone and hormones, and they're in adolescence. They're nightmares. So what are you going to do? They're what are you going to do with them? And that's apparently what's been going on, and it's awful.
Hey, Retep, real quick, who would you say would win in a fight? A full-grown lion or a full-grown tiger?
Oh my God, that's tough. I mean, I'm going to say I'd go with the tiger, and my reasoning is just because it looks more like a killing machine. A lion, I feel like I see a lot of footage of them just laying around and basking in the sun. Tigers are always hunting and killing.
Yeah, that's all lions are known for.
Yeah.
They're good sleepers.
Is it weird that I agree with his logic? Like, I shouldn't because it's Retep, but it's really
See,
logical.
you're getting used to me
Well,
now.
most people would say the opposite. Most people would say a lion. Forrest, do you know the story about the Indian emperor? I don't know. This was like a couple hundred years ago. Who bet a guy who had been around lions in Africa, and the guy was like, "Oh no, like tigers are way tougher." And the Indian emperor was like, I will bring a lion in and it will kill your tiger. And he was so confident that he gave him 13 million to 1 odds on the tiger.
What? Oh my God.
And so he brought a lion in from Africa, had them fight. The tiger snapped its neck in 12 seconds. And he paid his bet. He paid the guy like 1 trillion rupees or whatever. Yeah. I like being that confident though.
Yeah.
13 million to 1, dude.
That's a sure thing.
Dude, one of the other things from that documentary, though, is that there's no regulation, or there wasn't regulation until recently on owning big cats. Because, I mean, how could you just own 18 big cats? And then, like, what if they get out?
And can we also talk about the fact that they cost the same as your iPhone? I heard them say in that documentary they're like $2,000 to buy a tiger cub. You're telling me I could have a tiger right here if I wanted right now if I drove to Oklahoma?
Right.
That's insane.
Dude, that was the Siberian tiger cub was $2,000. I think he said the other ones were going for like $500.
Which is nuts.
It's nuts,
Yeah.
and you got idiots who, just like a dog, they'll get one because they think it's cute, then it grows up, and it costs $10,000 a year to feed, and they don't know what to do with it. So what do? They probably just release it or something.
Release it onto the street.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not quite like the little turtle that you get that gets too big and you put it in your city pond park, right? You let your tiger out in the neighborhood because it's grown too big for its kennel, and you might have some problems.
What did you guys think of his country music? Legit
it needs
liked
a
it.
Grammy. Yeah, it's great.
I couldn't believe how
Legit
good it
liked
was.
it. Yeah, maybe if all of his songs were about fucking tigers, like
Wait, no, but you guys heard the one song.
yeah.
Dude, he made a song about his nemesis Carol feeding her husband to lions because the accusation is that she killed her husband for money. And in the video, he's actually got an exact lookalike
dude,
of
he
her.
found an exact lookalike.
I was
bonkers.
when that first came on the screen, I was confused because I thought they had made up
I
and he
did
had
too.
got her to participate in the music video.
Same.
Dude, I swear to God, because I think I like looked at my phone for a second, and I looked up, and I turned to my fiance and was like, "Oh, they're friends now."
And it's the middle of the series? What's going on here? This is
What
wild.
happened?
Let's address something that nobody talked about with regards to Tiger King. The Ligers. Did you see those massive 1,000+ pound cats, which are hybrids between tigers and lions? Those
I
are
didn't realize
ligers.
that's what they were. Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
So a liger is when you crossbreed a lion with a tiger. A liger, meaning male lion, female tiger, versus a tigon, which is male tiger, female lion. But the ligers, for some reason, when you crossbreed those two species, they do not get the gene that stops growth. So basically, they are always on human growth hormone for cats.
Jesus.
So they
Holy
just
shit.
grow and grow and grow until they die, and they get actual gigantism. So there's one shot where you see Cody Antle, which was Doc Antle, the crazy guy in Florida's son, standing next to this liger. That to me, I mean, don't get me wrong, the whole series was mind-blowing, but that cat was one of the most mind-blowing things I've ever seen. It was the size of a horse.
I thought it was just like they way overfed it or like jacked it up on some horse steroids or some shit.
But again, animal abuse, basically. I mean, you're breeding an animal that now will never stop growing until it dies. So, like, that can't be pleasant for anybody's body.
They get to 11
No.
feet long, and they will weigh twice as much as a tiger.
That's
a male
mental.
tiger can reach 680 pounds. So, double that, and that's what you're getting out of a cat.
The size of a Mini Cooper.
So we asked a couple of Forrest's fans just to send in some questions. I really liked this one. What is the one thing that's not a necessity that you would be willing to leave the house and risk getting coronavirus for?
Wow. Ritep, you go first.
I mean, it's booze because I'm going crazy here. I'm actually doing it. Sorry, don't skewer me.
You did
everybody.
leave the house today to go get some more vino.
But
Yeah.
I did also get groceries. All right. Every time you go out there, it's like a war zone. But yes, booze
literally
is mine.
everyone I'm talking to is like, yeah, I'm hanging in there, but I think I might be becoming an alcoholic. And it's making me feel really good about the fact that we're like having a bottle of wine every night.
We're doing what we normally do, but everybody else is too. So now it's validated.
Mine is weird. It's exercise. I cannot stay cooped in the house and not get exercise. Like, even just doing push-ups at home or riding the bike or whatever, no good. I need to get out to exercise. I need to go for a trail run, go to the beach, hit a gym, whatever. I have to exercise or I go fucking
Interesting.
nuts. Yeah.
See, I've been switching like every other day, doing like running outside or just like working out at home. But yeah, working out at home it just does not feel the same.
It's awful. You just don't push yourself at all.
No, it's like you do one set of curls, start texting, and you're like, that's probably it. That's probably good.
Yeah,
I'm
I will
pumped.
check the refrigerator between sets to see if anything has materialized in there.
Well, it's
Legit.
like because when you're stuck in the house the entire time, then doing anything that could normally even be enjoyable. I mean, I've literally been quarantined for over 2 weeks now. I've only left 3 times, and I'm just like,
God.
I'm just like going nuts, man. Feel sorry for all the elderly. Sorry, elderly. Like, it's brutal. Imagine being alone and having nobody and being holed up at home. It's awful.
Dude, my mom is 75, and she cares so much less about this than I do.
No way.
It's really weird. Was griping to me that her Zumba class got fired, her Zumba class got canceled 2 days ago.
She's
I was
been
like,
going
wait
to
a minute.
Zumba until 2 days ago.
Until Tuesday of this week. They were still doing Zumba in South Carolina.
Boy, oh boy.
It's a real problem.
And I go, Mom, you're in the risk group. You're 75. She's like, yeah, but I do Zumba, so I'm more like 65.
And now Mama DeLuca's on her way to Daytona Beach for spring break.
Yeah. No, they're partying, boy. All right, so Forrest, I've been wanting to ask you about this. At the Chattanooga Zoo, apparently Chattanooga's in America. I'm not sure.
Tennessee, right?
Yeah, I think so. Dude, so this female Komodo dragon, which is a fucking sweet animal, hasn't had sex with a male, and all of a sudden she's pregnant, gives birth to 2 healthy Komodo dragon babies. What the fuck is this?
Boom. Evolution in your face. Parthenogenesis. One of the coolest things there is.
I don't believe it. What are you talking
Fake
about?
news.
This is surprisingly not fake news. There's 2 types of asexual reproduction, right? One is sperm retention, where 2 species, let's take swell sharks, for instance, in California, they mate, and the female can retain that sperm for many, many years. Actually, our tortoise, Patrick, Fern, it's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Was that the extinct one you guys found?
It was. And so those animals can mate once, they can copulate once, and the females can retain sperm within them for 15, 20 years and put out viable offspring.
That's wild.
Isn't that nuts? It is totally nuts.
I think the lead singer from Oasis might have had a baby that way.
But the other process at which some lizards do is called parthenogenesis. And so what parthenogenesis is when it's a type of reproduction where the female produces offspring without any male fertilization, without any copulation. And this usually happens with species that live incredibly isolated. So Komodo dragons they have a very small population, and they're spread out over these, small islands throughout Indonesia. Actually, only in one region of Indonesia, but they're spread out over these islands. So nature has made it so that their DNA has basically male and female parts. And from the time of them being embryos to being adults, they develop basically both sexual organs, even though they're female or male by anatomy and on the outside. And then if they reach a certain point in life where they have never connected with the other sex, their body can go into a state that allows them to reproduce without mating, and that's called parthenogenesis. And it's basically cloning, and that's what these Komodo dragons can do. What's interesting with lizards and a lot of these animals, because fish do it, certain insects do it with parthenogenesis, is they don't succumb to what we call genetic bottlenecking. So genetic bottlenecking is when, say what happened with cheetahs, they got driven down to the point where there were like only 400 cheetahs in the world at one point, something like that. I don't know the exact number. Now cheetahs are super susceptible to diseases because their genes became so limited. There were only 400 of them to share genes. There wasn't a lot of diversity. But these animals that have parthenogenesis, or the ability to reproduce this way, they do not succumb to a lot of genetic diseases. So even though there's limited variation, they're not weak by any means, which is fascinating. And I don't frankly understand why that is, but it's a fascinating thing nonetheless.
It's like when they breed dogs to be purebred dogs, they obviously have all sorts of problems, are way more susceptible to illnesses. And
Well, it's like when 2 cousins fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You would know a lot about
By
that.
the way, have you guys noticed, and not to get too raunchy, but have you guys noticed that the vast majority of porn these days is stepbrothers and stepsisters?
Yeah. I have noticed this, and I don't care for it. I do not understand when sisters and brothers and cousins became sexy. That is no good.
Dude, I had 3 stepsisters that were like within my age range, probably attractive. There was never a time, even when I was a 13-year-old horny boy, where I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, I want to see her in the shower.
It's
like, so I don't know who this is for.
The weirdest part is that it's made up. It's fake. So it's like they're capitalizing on just the idea of this, as if somebody was like, hey, put this out there. It'll sell well. And it must, because it's not like they're not looking at the analytics. You know what I'm saying?
good.
It's the only thing.
no good.
There's nothing else available right now.
This is why humans are doomed, man. We have no control. It doesn't make any sense, yet people are looking at it fucking day in and day out.
I bet with this quarantine, the porn stats are through the roof.
Oh,
yeah.
be.
I bet Pornhub.
Oh, by the way,
they're
side
killing
note,
it.
this is valuable to the listeners as well. Pornhub, I think it was, basically made their premium channel free. So people are capitalizing on that shit.
This is
how do you know
valuable
that?
to the listeners. Listeners,
Valuable.
savings,
you guys.
beware.
I think it might be time, guys,
For what?
for the Battle Royale.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
By the way, last time I thought your animals were ludicrous and ridiculous. Mine was obviously fantastic and the winner.
Okay, but here's what I want to do. I want to change Battle Royale because we're stuck at home. Let's do this. Let's engineer a new house pet using 3 parts of an animal that you'd have to be in quarantine with.
And the goal is what? Is to make the cutest, the best, the most cute, adorable pet.
Yeah, this is your quarantine buddy, right? You're like me. You're in complete isolation. You have no friends.
Right,
And,
right.
And this is it. You have to engineer 3. You have to combine 3 animals to create your perfect stay-at-home pet.
Okay.
Well, I'm happy to jump in first
do it.
here.
Let's hear it.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the body of a 6-week-old kitten.
Come on, that's a dead
Yeah.
giveaway.
So,
Horrible.
Obviously.
yeah. So I've got a 6-week-old kitten. It's fuzzy. It is cuddly. They smell good. I'm starting there.
Smart.
Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it the head of a baby hummingbird.
Wow.
Come on.
Have you seen a baby? Dude, have you seen how cute like a little baby bird's
They
beak
move too
is?
fast. I can't see them.
Dude, they're fuzzy. They have feathers coming out.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
They're a good time, man. So I've got this tiny little head, which is very cute, on this cute kitten's body.
Okay.
I'm going to give it the feet. So all 4 feet on the kitten's, at the end of the kitten's legs, are going to be a human baby's
Oh,
feet.
my God. Get out of here.
Everyone loves little... Dude, are you
This is
kidding? Dude,
awful.
watch a bunch of women get around a newborn
Are you
baby.
a woman? Will
They
the
are all-
women be
they're-
living with this? Or I thought this was our animals living with us.
I'm trying to sell these online. Dude, if you look at a group of women around a newborn human baby, they cannot stop playing with the feet. They are touching them. They're rubbing the feet all over their faces. They're
What
putting
are
the
you
feet in their
talking
mouths.
about?
This is going to be the new thing, man.
We got a name for it?
It's called the fru.
Very cute
It's a
name.
cute
It's
name.
very weird.
It's FR and then 3 O's.
Strange.
Fru.
All right, I'll go.
All right, what do you got, Forrest?
All right, I'm going to go ultimate cute. God, this is easy. All right, I'm going to go head of a slow loris. If you don't know what a slow loris is,
yeah.
aka Peter, you need to use Google.
So upset right now.
A slow loris has the biggest eyeball
they're
to head
cute.
ratio probably in the world. They are just adorable. But if you use their body, they will kill you because they are a venomous mammal. So we will go with the body of a red panda, if you're familiar with this animal.
Everybody loves a panda.
Okay, there's
Yeah.
quite a discrepancy in body to
Yeah,
head
yeah,
size there.
yeah. It's gonna be
Interesting.
a
We're
real
both
little
doing
head
that.
and a medium to large size body. So slow loris head, red panda body, and I'm gonna throw in some little hedgehog feet.
Okay.
They're
Why?
adorable. They're like these little. Have you seen
Hedgehog
hedgehog
feet?
feet? They're like these little weird alien soft like droopy hands.
When I tried to play with your hedgehog, it bit me within 2 seconds.
they're not nice.
But was it like a cute nibble, or did it actually like take a chomp that drew blood?
No, I needed a bandit and some
Well, I guess we're talking
Neosporin.
about cute looking. So right now, I'm going to say Forrest is in the lead out of you two, especially Pat. With your
That's bonkers.
Forrest.
Okay. Oh yeah, what's yours called, Forrest?
A slow pan dog. Yeah.
Ooh,
Nice.
good call with the
Nice.
slow Loris.
Dude,
God damn, I should have thought
I'm
of that.
pretty upset because, and I swear to God, that slow Loris is what I was going to pick for the eyes and face.
Oh, come on.
I swear to God, you
Yeah,
can
I
check
didn't know
my
what it was
internet
15
browser
seconds
history.
ago.
No, but I will say you made me happy again by letting me know that it was venomous because I did not know that. I just looked at a picture of it and I was like, I would not want to be living with a venomous slow loris. So I'm glad.
Peter, just go ahead and do the body, face, and feet of a blobfish. 'Cause that's what you're going to end up doing.
Yeah, I don't. That's what I look like, mate. I don't want anything that looks like me.
All right.
Well, I'm
what
going
do
to
you
start
got?
with the ears, and I'm going to go with the ears of a fennec fox because
Wow, that's powerful.
a fennec
Great
fox's
call.
ears are. I mean, aside from the animal, if it was just the ears, it would win this competition. Because the ears are huge. I don't know if
Truth.
you've ever seen them. They're just
good.
enormous radar dishes.
It's good.
Okay, so the ears of a fennec
Right.
fox.
And then, so now I have to audible my my face. So I'm going to go with the face of an otter pup, a sea otter pup.
Jesus.
Yeah.
This is good.
He's
Yeah,
coming
this is
strong.
good.
You're making up for
Yeah.
last week.
Definitely thought he was going to say a bat with a rat's tail.
I thought about it for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, and then I think I'm going to go. So, what I've got ears and I've got face. And then I'm going to go a little conventional here.
Got anything
I'm gonna
else?
Go a little conventional here. Yeah, I really want the listeners to visualize this. I'm going with the body of a really, really soft white bunny. Why is that
God,
laughable?
you started so
Why is that
strong and
laughable?
you just...
I know. You just tanked at the end
You
there, man.
have giant bunnies. You clearly like
That's true, I
obese
do.
bunnies. So, and then to finish it off,
No, that's 3. That's all you get.
does it always have to be 3? Is that the rule?
Yes, that's the self-imposed rule that's being made now.
Even if I'm going to give it a rat's tail needlepoint shark? All right. Okay, I got
What's
the
yours
name?
called?
What's it called?
a fennec otter.
Oh, boy,
bunny.
that's original.
God, that's lame. Sorry. All right, whatever.
You got a case of bad
so
brain.
you know what, guys?
Son.
Let's make it interesting. So for all the listeners out there, if you're enjoying our battle royale, we're gonna go ahead and vote for our animals. It can either be the Throop from Mr. DeLuca.
Throop. Throop.
You got to roll the R. It's
Thank
a lot
you.
of R's.
Thank you.
The slow pan dog created by myself, Forrest Galante, or the fennec otter bunny from Peter. Let's see. Everybody vote, and someone will be picked at random to win a brand new piece of Hex technology, the Hex suit.
Nice.
Yeah, and we can talk about what the Hex suit is. It's one of my main tools in the field, one of Patrick's main tools in the field, something we use all the time. And we will pick someone at random to win a Hex suit. So leave us a comment, leave us a review. Tell us if you like the Throop, the slow pan dog, or the fennec otter bunny.
Can I vote?
And
'Cause I'd like
win
to
yourself
this.
some Hex.
So what is a Hex suit?
So the Hex suit, it's a piece of technology that Patrick, myself, and the rest of our team use in the field a lot. It is a garment that has technology built in it that has the same tech as what's in the door of your microwave oven. So it blocks the body's naturally occurring electrical magnetic energy so that animals that pick up on EMR or EME, electrical magnetic energy, cannot sense you. So things like birds that use it for migration, sea turtles that use it for navigation, and a whole lot of other species we're learning use this as their sixth sense. And it's also really cool, really light, and really comfortable.
Dude, that's crazy. In addition to being an awesome piece of gear, that's like nuts.
Leave us a comment on iTunes. Let us know whose animal
Also,
was
if
the
you
cutest.
have an animal that you want to comment, I'd love to see that too.
Oh, yeah.
What's your cutest
Yeah,
animal?
that's a
Can
good idea.
anyone, that's a real challenge. Can anyone top any of these three? That's the real question here.
Well,
I think millions
they
of
can
people
definitely
can.
top. They can definitely top Peter's because
A hummingbird
he ruined
face, dude. Nobody's even seen a hummingbird's face. You're out of your gourd.
You just saw one out your window, dude. You just saw one.
Listeners didn't hear that part.
I'm so annoyed though, Forrest. I got some really, really bad news.
Ooh, lay it on me.
Scientists have discovered that jellyfish can release these big blobs of mucus, and they float in the ocean, and they can sting you real
Is
bad.
this new? I haven't heard of this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
The jellyfish turn themselves upside down on the floor of the ocean. And they release,
Cassiopeias.
they release these mucus blobs, and if you walk into one, it does you in.
Interesting. You might remember, Patrick, when we were shooting in the Bahamas for Extinct or Alive, I found upside down jellyfish, Cassiopeia.
Okay.
And those are the kind that go upside down. And it's funny because you can scoop them up and they seem harmless as long as you touch the outside. But I did not know that they could release gelatinous globs of their tentacles. This is amazing.
Yeah, it says that they first discovered this in 1908, but they thought that it was just, they were emitting just clusters of parasites that had infected them.
Okay.
But it's actually the stinging nematocyst cells. Why the fuck are they doing it? Like, you're just being a jerk.
Yeah.
There's no reason to do that.
I mean, it's got to be for like hunting food and getting an animal to get paralyzed so then they can go dissolve it with their weird gelatinous
But they have
mouths.
no way. Yeah, they couldn't. That's lunacy because how would they know where to go?
Electromagnetic wave fields, man.
They're really good at reading the currents. No, this is just a dick
total
move.
dick move.
They're literally calling it stinging snot.
Can we give those Cassiopeias the Dick of the Week award?
Yes. I thought you had a
Dick of
sound
the
effect
Week.
for the Dick of the Week award.
I do.
There it is.
There it is.
Dick of the Week.
So, Forrest, I've seen all these stories, first of all, that I think are bullshit about all these animals that are now coming out because humans are inside. But this one piqued my interest because I saw you had posted about a spotted Malabar civet. Tell me about this.
Let's break this down into two parts. First of all, you're right, Ritep. People are sharing a bunch of feel-good news that is bullshit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, like, look, are there positive repercussions to people being quarantined globally? Of course. Like, the water in the canals in Venice is way clearer because there's no boat traffic, right? But apparently pollution is way down in LA, something like the least smog since the 80s. That's fantastic. But these stories of dolphins in the canals of Venice, those were pictures taken in Sardinia that someone just bullshitted because they wanted to go viral. The swans that were showing up there, those swans are there every day of the year.
Oh my, dude, so that person knew they were full of shit too, which makes it even worse. Just going for internet points.
And I think my favorite one for the internet points is someone posted that elephants in Wuhan, China, of course, Wuhan being the center of coronavirus, have been enjoying themselves so much that they're breaking into tea plantations and getting drunk on fermented tea and passing out. And those pictures are just completely fake. Like, nobody's been able to figure out where they're from, but they're definitely not from Wuhan, which is in a state of complete calamity.
I mean, you can never deny the creativity of humans looking at a couple of passed out elephants and being like, they broke into a tea house and got drunk, obviously.
Well, dude,
and then people believe it.
Forrest, don't elephants get drunk in Zimbabwe, where you're from?
They do, on marula fruit. Yeah, they will go and eat fermented marula fruit. And it's the only time of the year where you can see elephants napping next to lions and impala and everything, because everything comes and eats this fermented marula fruit and gets absolutely tanked. So animals do get drunk, let's be clear.
Dude, have you had amarula?
No, I don't think so.
How would you describe it for us? It's like
a Bailey's-like liqueur from the marula fruit.
Yeah, so it's good. It's tasty.
Oh my God.
It's so
Does it
good.
get you as hammered as
glass?
Does it get...
In fact, I got a funny story about marula fruit. Like, think of this like thick, chunky Bailey's-like liqueur. On our season 2 premiere night
of Extinct or Alive.
Of Extinct or Alive, yeah. We had a party in Santa Barbara, and Patrick and I gave some toasts and some speeches, and handed out some like gifts, some Leathermans that we had made for the crew, and I gave a bottle of this Amarula, which it's not cheap stuff, it's good high quality liqueur, to our editor Jesse. And I was like, here, thanks so much for all your hard work, man. You've been cutting the show. You've been so great to work with. And Jesse's about 5'5", and
I was gonna say 4'11".
Yeah, it's real generous. He. What I'm getting at is he probably couldn't hang with the amount of alcohol consumption that was taking place at the party.
Right.
So he just decided to crack his, couple $100 bottle of Amarula from Africa and start sharing it with the entire party and smash the entire creamy, heavy liqueur bottle by taking handle pulls.
Is that why he didn't show up to breakfast the next day?
That would be why, yeah.
So he got real shit-faced on the Medulla wine.
Yeah, he was a mess.
When you want to get drunk, you also want to ingest a full bottle of cream.
That's
my rule.
That's good.
Yeah. So that said, Forrest, what about this, you guys do Extinct or Alive. They're claiming that an animal they thought was extinct or very near extinction has been seen basically just walking around. I think it came out of India.
Well, the video they showed, it's crossing the street.
Yeah, it's like out in...
It is.
Yeah.
It's in town, and town's abandoned. You see no people in the video.
Right.
Aside from all the fake wildlife news, this was a genuine image of a civet walking through a town in India, an abandoned town in India. And the idea is that because, nobody's out running around, here comes this critically endangered spotted Malabar civet. I actually posted this and said, somebody help me understand this, because I can't find any credible sources, and as a scientist, I'm not just going to be like, check this out, it's real.
Right.
And so there's a whole lot of discussion going on as to whether or not this is a Malabar civet, or if it's an Indian small civet, which is a similar, much smaller animal that has almost identical markings. And unfortunately, the photo doesn't give us any scale, so it's next to impossible to tell.
Okay, so I mean, it's out there. It's kind of like a controversy going on right now. Nobody knows yet. It could be.
Let's look at the positive here, right? The positive is you've got an incredible creature, whether it's the Malabar large spotted civet or the Indian small civet, walking around the streets of a busy city when humans disappear. And I think the positive here, what we're looking at is, look at what happens when we just give the world a minute to take a break.
From humans.
Animals start to come out.
Right.
From humans. Yeah. Animals start to come out of hiding. They start to go, into the streets and look around. And, this is true, whether fake reports of dolphins in the canals
Drunk elephants
are there or not. Yeah, this is real. And I think it's pretty amazing, not to get too heavy, but it's pretty amazing to see what just a week or two of break from human activity will do to the planet.
Absolutely.
Do you guys, obviously everyone's stocked up to some extent. Don't hoard shit. I am using napkins as toilet paper. But we
You
bought
do
a
that
bunch
normally,
of
don't
groceries.
lie.
It's not bothering me at all, quite frankly. Are you guys, so we got a bunch of fruit, right? So we got some bananas and apples and stuff. I'm just naming fruits.
Things with rhymes, hopefully, that you can take
Do you guys
off.
enjoy when you come down to your fruit basket and it's covered in fruit flies? Does that make you happy?
Dude, I
Love it.
fruit flies are a nuisance only second to mosquitoes, in my
There
opinion.
were so many fruit flies on my fucking bananas today that I literally was like fantasizing about blowing up a fruit fly to be the size of me so that I could disarm it limb from limb and stab it. I was so angry.
That should have been your cute animal.
Just a giant fruit fly?
Yeah, a giant attack fruit
Well,
fly.
I was surprised to learn, as I started Googling about why are there so many goddamn fruit flies, that the city of Los Angeles, where we live, is releasing millions of fruit flies into the air
What?
via airplane.
Why the fuck would they
Every
do that?
day.
These
Yeah, wait,
these
what?
psychopaths.
Dude, are you-
This is a real
this is
thing?
legit. We have an invasive Mediterranean fruit fly. That's an invasive species that's, I guess, killing crops in California or whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And so to combat that, they're flying in planes and releasing 125,000 regular fruit flies.
This is a nightmare.
That are sterile.
Okay.
Sterile fruit flies.
Okay, all right.
125,000 fruit flies per square mile
Holy shit.
over the skies of Los Angeles. So we're literally putting millions of sterile fruit flies into the air to mate with these shitty Mediterranean fruit flies to kill them off.
get
So
rid
so
of
it's
them.
like a
Wow.
nuisance now, but it's going to eventually eradicate these invasive pests.
Yeah, but I don't care about the invasive Mediterranean fruit fly. I care about the millions of fruit flies they're putting into the sky above my house.
Eating your fucking
That
bananas,
is amazing.
mate.
You know why they have to do that? Because these fruit flies, they only live about 40 days.
It's too much.
So they
Way
have
too
to
long.
Let's get that
But
down
they-
to 30.
3.
But they have to and they can lay hundreds and hundreds of eggs each, which hatch within 24 hours. So they're crazy.
horrible creatures.
But they have to continue. I didn't know any of this, by the way, but they have to continually release them. Otherwise, the sterile fruit flies will just continue to reproduce at an alarming rate. So it's a biohack to fight an invasive species, which frankly is amazing, but it is really not very pleasant when you get down to your fruit basket in the morning and it's black with fruit
Well, couldn't
flies.
there be like some wild repercussions to that? What if it got out of control?
Oh, dude.
They released a batch that wasn't sterile or something. We'd be doomed.
So, Forrest, we both have you been to New Zealand, Peter?
I have not. Would love to go. You guys should take me.
Okay, let's do it.
After
let's
the
take
virus,
'em.
after the plague.
Podcast 11 coming at you
Nice.
from New Zealand.
But dude,
Noted,
for people
scheduled.
that haven't driven around New Zealand, like I think we both did this, where we rented a car at the top of the North Island and drove all the way to the bottom of the South Island.
Yep.
There is just roadkill everywhere. Millions and millions and millions of what look like ferrets, and they're called a stoat.
Yep.
And the New Zealand government brought this stoat in to combat an invasive species. I can't remember if it was a mouse or a rat.
The possum, I believe.
Okay. So they brought these sort of ferret-like creatures in called a stoat, and their population exploded beyond belief. And it was a huge backfire. Like, it's a disaster.
That's what I
Huge.
was saying about the fruit flies. I mean, who knows what's going to happen when humans intervene?
And this is a story. Actually, I believe the stouts were brought in to combat rabbits, if I remember correctly. I think they're really good rabbit hunters. But this is a story as old as time. We did this in Hawaii, and you're not wrong, Patrick. The amount of roadkill in New Zealand is insane, and we often do this where we think because we understand an animal and its ecology and its behavior that we will bring it to a new environment and it will control something. A perfect example of that, Hawaii, complete mess. We brought rats into Hawaii. The rats started to eat the bird eggs, and we're like, oh crap, this is terrible. We're losing an alarming rate of bird species in Hawaii. Let's bring mongoose in to hunt the rats. Now there's mongoose all over Hawaii, which are diurnal, by the way, and nobody thought of this, and rats all over Hawaii at night, still eating the birds, and neither of these two animals are killing each other, and
Hawaii
now they're
sounds
both
like
there.
a nightmare.
And this goes on and on and on. Cane toads in Australia. I mean, the roads are they run red with the blood of cane toads, which are invasive species that you just mow over in your car.
And they're so big.
Big, disgusting, venom-glanded toads that were brought in to eat cane beetles.
One of the things that was in Tiger King that I did like, that I appreciated, was the fact that they do feed all the roadkill. Like if somebody hits a deer or something out there, they basically bring it to Exotic Joe to feed to the tigers at least. So all that...
And the Walmart meat.
Well, yeah, the Walmart meat, which also his employees get to pick through first.
I also like how they had frozen pizzas from the Walmart.
Yeah.
Like, Tiger just likes a nice DiGiorno.
By the way, it does. Don't knock a DiGiorno. Any animal will eat that. Oh,
Boy.
my God, dude. Getting a little tipsy here. This is
You just
fantastic.
guzzled a pint of red wine, sir.
I've been so deprived of human contact for 2 weeks that this is the best part of my week by far.
Is that why your pants are off and your hands have not come above the table once during this video conference?
Oh, my God. It's been an hour already, and that's true. So did you guys see what's going on in Florida right now with the whole coronavirus thing?
Yeah, apparently the state of Florida is not taking this seriously.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
that's what I've
more
heard.
it's more the people that are going there for spring break who aren't taking it seriously, though, right?
Well, dude, my fiance's cousin lives in like a nice part of Clearwater Beach, and she texted us last night that her neighbors were allowing their college kids to have a huge keg party, and they were all doing keg stands, and there was like 60 college-age kids doing keg stands in the yard next to hers.
See? This is my point. This is why I'm ragging on Daytona. They're having fun, and I'm sitting here in
Rightfully so.
isolation.
Right.
Humans are, man, just sometimes the worst. I saw in India that the cops are going around, and if anybody's not obeying like the curfew or the quarantine or whatever, they literally just have these basically whips. And they're just whipping people on the back and the ass as they go down the street on their mopeds. I'm not
Did
even
you
kidding.
see-
There's videos all
Dude,
over.
Should.
Dude, one up from that, there's gangs, I want to say in Colombia, that are, because they said because the government is failing to enforce the curfew law, the gangs themselves are going to teach you a lesson if you're out past 8 p.m.
I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
Yeah, there is gang violence taking place to keep the curfew up. It's
But dude,
insane.
I'm
How
down
about
with
the fact
it.
that like the gangs were like, hey, we should step up and enforce. Like, let's be the
Right.
good guys here.
Right.
Well,
It's amazing.
In South
Yeah.
America, the government was like, okay, you're not allowed to lay anybody off and we'll pay their salary. And then people are just like, with what? Like 10 trillion Venezuelan dollars? Because it's so inflated already. It's just not helping out there. So I think the gangs, I mean, they realize this shit and they're like, hey, well, we're going to fix this the old fashioned way with violence.
So what I'm hearing is that we have to get a gang from Brazil and take them to Florida. That's what I'm hearing. Is this correct?
Zero question.
Okay.
Man, when you're in college, you are so cocky, or I'm speaking for the three of us.
Yes.
You're the cockiest you've ever been in your life when you're in college. Like I could totally imagine myself at age 20 being like, dude, it's going to be like a cold if I get it. Fuck it.
Totally.
Zero question.
Totally.
Zero question.
There's a girl who might want to give me a kiss if I go to the beach.
And the IQ points in collective settings just drop so quickly.
Oh my God, dude. And then throw in a bit of booze.
Miss those days.
That's how I lost my tooth.
Well, did you see that? So I get most of my news from CNBC, because they're pretty bipartisan. Like it's just how is this going to apply to the markets, and so you kind of it's like a filter. But one of the pieces of financial news that I came across yesterday was that divorce attorneys all over America are already seeing a massive spike in calls that they're getting for divorces.
Oh, a spike. I thought you were going to go the other way. I thought couples were like getting along because they were stuck together and forced to speak.
Are you nuts?
Quite the opposite, sir. Quite the opposite. This is causing couples to call divorce attorneys at an alarming rate.
Can you imagine? You're quarantined with said counterpart. So she's sitting in the living room and you're hiding in the bedroom calling a divorce attorney to get a quote.
Honey, I'm gonna go to the grocery
bathroom
store.
flushing the toilet.
Honey, I'm gonna go to the grocery store.
hysterical.
You just go sit in the car and call your lawyer.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the other thing is, there's around the U.S. there's tens of thousands of like destination weddings and weddings that have had to been postponed. I feel like 50% of those people aren't even going to go through with it now.
Right. Yeah.
Probably for the better.
All the hype, all the buildup, all the excitement. Hold on to your horses because it's not happening.
Right.
Well, dude,
you're now forced to be in close quarters
Yep.
and not leave the house.
And what if this goes on, say, till like September? I mean, people are just going to be so fed up with each other. The wedding is off, people. Get out of there.
Well, Forrest, like we're supposed to go out and do a couple international adventures.
Yep.
As soon as we can.
Right.
I mean, what if this does extend 3 months? Like, what do you think mentally you can handle it?
I can handle being quarantined for 3 months. Yes. I mean, I'm not going to like it. But I live in an area in Santa Barbara where I can go to the mountains. I can go to the beach. I can get outside. If I were in a New York City apartment, I would go nuts. I would lose my mind. I need to go outside every single day, even if it's just in my own garden. But if I were stuck, in downtown New York, I don't know what I'd do.
Which is the scariest possible place to be right now in the
Totally.
U.S.
Yep.
So let's play this game. Coronavirus is going to go on for the foreseeable future. This will happen. The cause will get worse. People are going to panic and die. All these fun things. Where are you going? Why are you going there? Where's your Eden? Where are you going? And you got to think about resources, food, water, where are you going and why are you staying there? I got mine. Retep, take it away.
So I think, the food and resources, I just go to the grocery store and pack up my car. And then there's actually like a lot of places, not to shit on your point, but there's a lot of places where you can just go into the mountains and camp completely by yourself. There's nobody around you. It's off-grid camping. And I've been there before and I loved it even when there wasn't a plague going around. So I think that's where I'd go. And it's not very far from here. You're talking about an hour away from even LA. So I think, I could get there quick.
You're thinking real short term.
Yeah,
You're
that's
thinking
gonna be
I'm going to go on a
boring.
weekend camping trip. Like, what are you going to eat?
What is it? Like I said, are you talking like if the apocalypse happens and
Societal
grocery stores
collapse.
Dude,
Yes.
all right. That's a different story. I would just die. I'd kill myself.
Okay.
I can't survive in that.
I agree with your sentiment. I think that's what you would do.
I'd come and hitch my wagon to your star, dude. Be like, hey, Forrest, take me with you.
I'm surprised you picked going and sleeping in a tent in the mud an hour outside of LA.
Well, that's how you see
that's
it.
a
You're an
hell of a
idiot,
call.
but okay.
When I've been with you to the place where I'm going to go, which is I'm going to the North Shore of Kauai.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
There
Very
is
pleasant.
a wonderful Costco right by the airport.
How are you going to get there? You're going to
I'm
take
gonna
take
rent
a
an
paddle boat. Society has collapsed,
I'm going to rent
mate.
an SUV.
And drive over the ocean.
Oh shit! You're poking holes in my story now.
Yeah, that's right. Just like my story was poked.
So I've got to be able to drive, Forrest, because that's a total breakdown.
So societal collapse is coming, but you can travel somewhere. So you got to get there and get set up.
North
right?
Shore of Kauai, Costco is fantastic.
Doesn't
it's beautiful.
exist.
It's a beautiful place to be. Have you been to Kauai?
I have, yeah, only once, and I was about 17, but loved it. I mean, it's stunning.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
If Kauai wasn't a 5-hour flight, we would talk about it the way that we talk about like Bali.
Right.
It's
Totally.
fucking incredible. It's like the
Yep.
best place in the world.
It's got everything.
They filmed Jurassic Park there, didn't they?
Sure did.
Yeah. It's a
So
beautiful
I would
place.
go, and I encourage everybody to look this place up. Innocence Island in the Bahamas. It's the largest private island in the Bahamas. I believe it's for sale for like $150 million for any of our listeners that just feel like a weekend getaway.
Let's do a GoFundMe.
Got some rich listeners.
Yeah, it's a 600-acre private island, flush with a a freshwater lake, tons of palm trees full of coconuts, coral reefs all around it, white sand beaches, and it's in the Bahamas. Just sounds like heaven.
Well, I mean, it's a great idea, except now that you've told our millions of listeners that are all obviously going to be going there first. So you really fucked up there.
Yeah, price went up. Price just went up.
By the way, it was listed for $55 million, didn't sell, it went to auction, and someone got it for $17 million.
Oh, come on.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's my
Damn.
dream home.
Dude, there's like a full resort on the island that was included.
We could form a gang and go take it over.
Let's do that.
Let's
Absolutely.
do that.
Yeah.
It has a private runway.
Nice.
Does it really?
It does, yeah. And an international airport code, so you don't even have to clear customs. You can just land.
Sweet. We could bring all the...
If you're listening and you want to form a gang with the three of us and go take over this island, leave a comment on the iTunes.
All right, guys. That just spiked the audio. This has been the most social interaction I've had in a while. Retep still doesn't have pants on. I can see it over the Zoom meeting.
you assholes.
Just finished his second pint of red wine.
What a guy. But
it's about time
this
we
is the
wrap
wrap up on the second Wild Times podcast. I hope everybody enjoyed listening to it. Because we're all stuck in quarantine and isolation, we'll be doing another one tomorrow. And tomorrow... you guys should have received your cases of Wild Tonic today, alcoholic kombucha. Did you guys get that?
Sure did.
Very excited.
Yes, sir.
Peter, how many of you had so far?
I am on my, third pint glass full, but that's besides the point.
What a lunatic. But we'll be, guys, let's just get drunk on some Wild Tonic tomorrow night and tell some stories.
Hell yeah.
I think we shall. I think we must.
Yeah, this is good. All right.
All right.
Good night,
Good chat.
guys. Good night.
See
Vote
ya.
for my animal. Good night.
Good night.
Wild Times.